All right, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and today I'm here to talk about why Joe Buck has become one of my favorite NFL commentators. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, this came about when I was on FaceTime with some of my friends earlier tonight. We were talking about our Mount Rushmore of sports broadcasters, and there were a lot of good names brought up: Costas, Michaels, Harlan, Nance, Gus Johnson, Albert Emmerich, to name a few. But I don't overly pay attention to broadcasting during sports games. I'm usually not actively listening to what the commentators have to say. I definitely don't watch with the sound off because I'm not that much of a psycho. But I'm always watching Red Zone unless the Broncos are playing anyway. So unless it's prime time or the playoffs, it really doesn't allow me to get a good glimpse into NFL broadcast teams. But Buck and Aikman have Monday Night Football now, and for a long time broadcasted some of the biggest NFL games on Sunday afternoons when they were a part of the Fox team. And there's just something about growing up with a guy whose random voice is just ringing throughout your house on a Sunday afternoon while you know you're procrastinating on your homework and you know that you're probably not going to have enough time to do it after the Fox game finishes and between when Sunday Night Football starts. And that's what mid to late 2010s NFL was like for me. And Joe Buck has become a mainstay listening to one of the favorite sports I love. And I remember one of the criticisms of Joe Buck was that he had very little passion of the game of football, and he actually liked commentating baseball more. And he was actually pretty decent in baseball in his early days because it was a sport he genuinely cared about. And there was a lot of hate for him because he was a legacy child who primarily got into sportscasting because his dad, Jack Buck, was an absolute legend. I've been around St. Louis. I know that he means a lot to that community, and he means a lot to broadcasting in general and what he's done for that whole industry. But Joe Buck had a stoic attitude when he was growing up, and his lack of emotion kind of, I guess, I could see where people really started to not like him. And even as a Joe Buck truther, I'll admit it. I'll admit that he really was not the best, and he needed time to grow, as I'm sure anybody starting out in that industry when they're the age that they are has had to do. Like, for example, even me, I've made YouTube videos for 4 years now, and granted, I haven't really stuck to it that much because I've just been working a lot over those past 4 years, but people can grow. People in media can grow. Like, look at my first YouTube videos if you haven't seen them. Like, they're awful. But there are some plays I can think of where I can listen to and be like, yeah, I can see where the hate comes from. And two plays that come to mind for me are the helmet catch and the fake punt return that the Bears had. And I remember when I first started watching the NFL, that was the height of the Rodgers breakout, and he did seem very biased towards the Packers. But now he's tensed up way less. He's very easygoing, and he's talked pretty openly about how he used to call big moments, trying to stay out of the way and just letting the moment speak for itself. And, the Minneapolis Miracle Masterclass, that was probably one of the biggest successes of his career. And he's self-aware. Like, he hears the criticism. When he called the disgusting act thing, though, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this one because he genuinely thought Randy Moss was mooning the crowd, and I don't really blame him for that call in general. But either way, he's really grown on me. Maybe it's the stories of watching him take edibles. Maybe it's listening to the stories of him peeing in a trash can during the middle of a Lambeau game and having to commentate during a 75-yard touchdown. I don't know. Maybe it's listening to the stories about how him and Troy Aikman used to get absolutely trashed in the booth while they were commentating NFL games. Look that one up. Look all those up. Pretty good watches if you have the time. But I like Buck more than the average person, more than the average NFL fan. Maybe it's nostalgia, but to me, he just has the big game voice. And I kind of really like the dry humor he's been implementing into his broadcasting style over the past few years. I hear him talk, and I know that I'm watching an important game. I know that I'm watching a big game. Very few broadcasters have that. Al Michaels had that, except Thursday Night Football was not very kind to him last year. Bob Costas had it. Kevin Harlan has it. Uh, Buck is not just some robot. I've read the first few pages of Joe Buck's book, and he is incredibly vulgar outside of the booth or studio, so I'm surprised he hasn't slipped down an F-bomb in there at least once or twice. But yeah, so that just kind of does it for me. It's kind of me rambling late night about why I enjoy Joe Buck and why I kind of have really grown to appreciate his commentary style over the past few years. So yeah, that does it for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.